Hello, everyone. Oh, that seems loud. I'm not sure how it's for you. Is it sound good? Good. That's me. Okay, let's share the secrets. We are on camera, so we have to be very careful with those secrets, not to say that Santa does not exist or unicorns does not exist, right? But let's see, maybe we'll get some. So we'll talk about speed today. So because it's a cold room, let's warm up a bit. So who knows what's the speed of light? That's the fastest anything can get to. Anyone knows in the audience? 300,000 of what? 300 meters per second. Anyone? Two little people went to physics class, right? 300 was a good number. It's just 300 kilometers per second. So in simple terms, in Vilnius, we are way more lucky people than in Klaipėda. Klaipėda seaside. We see the morning sun 1 second plus minus earlier than those guys, right? Woohoo! Fast. Second question. Sorry. Click twice. That's technology. So what's the fastest train in the world? 600 kilometers per hour, right? So it's quite fast, right? It's a test run, they said. So let's now go to the topic. What's the fastest speed of the product delivery, digital product delivery? What's the world record of delivering products fastest? Yesterday. Good. Which company did that? Secret. Anyone else? It's a bit strange question, Vaidas, you should say, right? It's super easy to measure speed of train or even light. That's not that easy, but people did that. Measuring speed of delivering digital products, it's a bit more complicated. So I invite you today to have this discussion about it. I'll share some ideas. Let's see if they reflect or you can challenge me about those. So I'm Vaidas Adomauskas. I'm super happy that I was the founder and volunteer of Agile Lithuania Association that's organizing this event. 14 years ago, I remember organizing that the first time. So I really want to give huge applause still for the volunteers that keeping this great tradition and making this happening. Great guys. Everyone is volunteer. No one is paid. And such an amazing event. Great to be here. On my professional life, I started it in Sweden, then worked at companies here. But the last 5 years, I was living with family in UK. Kids learned British, not English, British very well. They check my pronunciation. You can see my Eastern European accent. They talk very nice British. So had worked in a few companies that I'll take examples from. Now, this summer, we moved back to Lithuania. So my also idea is to bring back more of those global experiences here and share with you guys. So what I do now, somewhere there, yes? Oh, that's the fastest. With Agile Coach team, I work with few clients. One of them is I work as Fractional Chief Product Officer in SME Finance. It's a crazy, right? How can you do fractional role? Fractional role, it means I work 1 or 2 days a week with a client. And then other UK bank and a few other customers. So I'll share my experiences from those companies. So let's move on. The big question, 10 times faster. How? What's the easiest answer on this? Make 10 times less. You're going to very clever ideas already. I start much simpler. You just code faster. So once we hire engineers, we do them test. And the ones that pass that test, speed typing test, those we get in. That's how we get 10 times faster delivery, right? Everyone up for it? No? Come on. I go to very many companies that come to us. I mean, myself and my team say, oh, we want to increase software delivery speed. It's like, yeah, that's a bit of a joke, right? It doesn't work, right? We know it doesn't. But then we have another gurus in the world, like Elon Musk. Some like it, some hate it. Everyone knows about him, right? He says, I'm working 80 hours a week. I will do 120 hours a week. if any one of you would do the math, that means it's less than 7 hours left for everything else. Sleep, eat, toilet, coffee. So I'm not sure that's sustainable. So I'm not going to tell you that, right? This is not, I think, the good or sustainable idea. Some crazy, in a good way, people probably can do that, but it's not what it's about. So, third option is AI, right? That's on the wave. AI knows all the questions. So my challenge to you is now, do you need me to tell you any answers? I'm sure everyone of you has a phone. So I'll ask you now to open your phone and go to Agile Coach LT. Oh, I should explain that one more time. Every one of you need to open the phone, go to Agile Coach LT, and there is a button, Ask Theoretical Agile Expert. And I want you to type that question and see what it answers. Maybe we don't need to spend the rest of 45 minutes. Maybe I knows the answer. At least few. That's strange, right? When a lecturer tries to ask to do something on the phone. Who got the answer first? We have some presence even from other companies. Maybe we can share for that. When you start getting the answer, someone shout what the answers the AI is giving. What methodologies? How come? Surprising. You're asking. We trained it to pretend it's an Agile coach. So as an Agile coach says, use Agile. That's done? Everything? Anything else? MVPs. Start doing MVPs. Anything else? Sorry, let's go on this side. Sorry. Prioritize and focus. Very good. Cross-functional teams. You see? When I asked it, it gave me basically this list. Maybe yours are different. Sometimes it gives different answers. My point here to say is that it's actually, if you read it, it's quite logical. So the point is that today, the knowledge, we really should use Google, YouTube. There's lots of videos of Agile Talk conferences. You can ask ChatGPT those questions, and you will get really good answers, actually. The difference is that they're more theoretical, right? And if you talk to real people, they are more practical. So that's what we, as Agile Coach, we're trying to see our kind of help and experience. And if you want, come to talk to us at the end of that hall, is to share practical examples, right? What really works in practice. But if you just want a simple answer, like what's the roles of Scrum Master, how to behave in specific situation, actually ChatGPT can help. But who believes if you do this, you will get 10 times faster launching products? Or you'll get your products to launch 10 times faster. Will you? Sorry? First. 10 times faster than today. Sorry? So you mean if you use these practices, you will launch 10 times faster than you would do without them? After that. Okay, that's a good idea. Yes, one of the way, I'll just tell what we should consider that everyone is doing Agile at some standard now and how to move kind of 10 times faster from that, right? Yeah, I think my point to make here, that Agile is all about incremental growth, right? Incremental improvement. And if you do these things, you definitely every day, every week, you'll be more and more faster, better quality, better. So definitely you should do that. And lots of conference talks today will be about how incrementally improve. And I just want to state one more time, that's amazing. If every day, every week you improve 1%, you accumulate that improvement fast enough. So please do that. Having said that, in this talk, I want to suggest some radical change. So I'll not talk about these stuff. I'll talk a few examples, what I think are key elements I saw in companies that actually slows down that possible 10x growth, or why some companies are 10 times faster in delivering products than the others. So you saw this. So first, we need to agree on how we measure that value. And sorry, speed. And for me, speed is about business value delivery. For me, it's if you want to launch faster, it's not as you code faster, how many lines of code you wrote faster. It's not about how many features you launch faster. It's whatever your business value is it revenue, is it usage? That's what matters. So when I will talk, I always will think 10 times faster. Can we get X customers 10 times faster than our competitor? Can we make our conversion 2% faster than my competitor? Or if it's a public sector, maybe how many of, sorry, if it's internal software, maybe how many of my colleagues, how fast my colleagues from other departments will use this product that I'm building, right? So for me, speed is about speed of business value delivery. So that's the context. So let's start with the first story. As I mentioned, me with my family were living for 5 years in UK, worked in different companies for different clients. Now we came back, and there is one company that was talking to me quite a while, SME Finance, and they said, Vaidas, maybe you want to join us, and we discussed, and okay, let's join as a fractional CPO. And look, this is the public data from Requisite LT. This is the blue one is the sales revenue. It's nicely growing company, revenue grows. I mean, everything is fine. And I came in, and I'm sitting in the board meeting. I see presentation going about through all the projects. And then after that meeting, I took the owner aside and say, look, you said you want me to be chief product officer, but it seems you need a chief project officer. Because you're running projects, not products. And we discussed what's the difference about it. But basically, he agreed, OK, let's move all this organization from project-based to product-based. I'll share in a bit what it means, and we'll go through the presentation to get why we use these words. But why? Because every time in an organization, when we launch projects, you see how old this is a slide? Agile to Vilnius 2010. It never gets old. Any company you go and you see how much of your launch features is used, it's usually about 20% only. All the rest we created is actually, as you started saying at the beginning, is not what we are using, right? Like no one is using, no one cares, it does not bring any value. And more importantly, which Mary drew this graph, very nice, Mary Poppendick, like complexity increases. So we need more people, organization grows, we become slower. But the worst thing is that user experience sucks. If we want to deliver value, who pays the money? Who uses our software? If it's a software. Customers, right? And if it's really hard to use, if it's projects are done, this system talks to this system, talks to this system. Great, data moves. But if I, as a customer, want to use and have a get some value from it, oh my God, I need to learn a lot, right? I need to understand how this company was organized to get my job done. So that's what I see in every basically organization that runs projects. So what's my advice? Number one is kill all projects. Period. Oh, applause, thank you. I never saw high-growth company talking in a project terms. We all talk about product terms. It's not like kill, it means no one does anything. We need to start thinking this kind of product way of thinking. And if you can, start, of course, from top. Very good question is, how many people, who is an executive team caring about product, digital product? Is there a person? Very often it's not, right? Again, startups, they do have founder usually there, but if you go back to more traditional companies, there is no chief digital product officer or even the board. So that's what basically now I'm doing, talking with board CEOs, how to actually get that skill and experience. And then, of course, you need to train all organization. What's the difference between product and project? I'm not going into details here, but you can see a training where top managers of this company are excited to launch, to get those balls as fast as possible. A fun fact, once we told them how fast the competitors did in the training, oh my God, they went very fast, So motivation, if you want to go faster, tell how fast your competitors do. Can you do it at your level? You'll say, none of us here is CEO. And I don't know, maybe some are, so sorry. But majority maybe are team leaders or department managers. What I can do Actually, yes, you cannot get Chief Product Officer to your board. You might maybe advise, talk to Vaidas or whatever. But at your level, even if you are within project constraints, if you start thinking and reading what is product and almost work in a product way, you will see that you start delivering value much, much, much faster, times faster, I would bet. Make sense? Let's move on. What's then? Then, for some reason I'm clicking right, it goes left. Oh, then, I definitely have to share a story from Revolut, right? If you work at Revolut, that's what you have to do. Everyone knows Revolut. I was leading Revolut Business, so I'll take just one example out of that. Those who don't know, we have kind of product called spend management. But the point here is, when I joined, it was 2 years product. So basically, it was very simple. If I make a transaction from business account, you need to attach a receipt because you have to prove why this business spending is done, right? That's it. Then, once we kind of continued to grow, we said, okay, it's not only CEOs that needs to do that, founders themselves, the owner of the account, we might want to invite team members also. If the team leader goes for lunch, they need to snap that receipt. And then after some time, we realized, okay, maybe we want to assign budgets. So if you have, I don't know, 100 euros per month to spend with your team, you always have it. So there are rules and approvals, right? So it's a process of like this spend management was not on day one like it is today. And of course, it grew throughout that time. Why I'm telling this story? Because for some reason, lots of companies, when I look at those, especially startups, they think we have to have everything to begin with and for everyone, right? But actually, if you look, all companies started from small things. But the biggest difference, which I still have not found a company as good as Revolut was when I was there, talking in business value in numbers. And yes, almost every company has the company level kind of revenue target or customers target. That's I get. You go to board, we do have revenue target for 2024, or now, planning comes. And then you go, okay, let's go one level down, what department goals are, what the team goals are. And then what you see? What usually team goal is of kind of product team. Ship feature X by date Y, may ship this product by the end of the year. Somewhere that kind of connection drops. And I don't care, are you using OKRs, KPIs, whatever other I's. Just have numbers, but those numbers should be in a value, right? So in this case, for example, product team caring about this product, early days, they had like what percentage of our active customers uploading receipts, right? Because the goal is start uploading it. Once we hit that target, what next? Next, we want to have these more team members, so we change it. But it's always not launch feature that enables to invite a team member. We don't care about that, because once we launch it, we want to make sure that we get part of the customers to do that, right? And then if you go further, as I said, we're adding approval rules, then what percentage of those approvals rules are used? So if you just translate OKRs, KPIs in every level, especially to team level by value, you will see a huge change in behavior. I don't know why it's not happening, so I'm trying to figure out, but I see that in a company level, and then usually it breaks when you go one and more levels down. So the second big advice is remove all delivery OKRs, KPIs, whatever you call them. Like if your company has a list what to do, and those are delivery, by delivery I mean ship, do, buy, date X, remove all those, and rewrite those in a business value. Why we are doing, how much of usage, value, whatever it is we want to achieve, right? And of course, you will need to train teams to measure that. Very often they don't care, right? And okay, Vaidas, I'm not the company owner. I'm here a team member, how I can do that? Can you? If you're a team member that gets objective, let's launch feature X. Let's launch a feature that allows to invite teammates to use spend management. Do you have a right to rewrite that? Would you? Yes, one person. Thank you. I thought everyone is dead already. Yes, you can. Yes, and you should. And that's what basically, of course, takes time to train and measure, because people say, I'm influenced by sales, you know, how I can know. But that's a good discussion starts. But you really start giving a team a value to create. And you can do it at your level. Yes, best and top level, but you can do it at your level. So what's then? If you do that, what's next? I was working in Uncapped, and it's a SME lending company. And the guys hired me, and they said, we just raised lots of money from investors, you know, cash in the bank. We're doing lending products for the e-commerce businesses. Let's launch banking services for them, you know. Now it's a big wave, that's what I'm working. And we did that. As you wrote in the description, less than 6 months, customers started using bank account, putting money into it. But we didn't go and say, let's launch SME banking for everyone in the United States. There's already Mercury, Brex, lots of competitors, billion-dollar companies. We thought, what segment we actually are serving? And in this case was e-commerce businesses, so owners that run e-commerce sites. And what's the value we want to deliver to them specifically? Not the rest, but them specifically. That's why we got so fast. Why? I shared this model from Justas Kriukas, co-founder of Omnisend. He shared it a months ago in a conference, product management conference, which I thought really explained this. Because if you go from small market size to big market size, the sky's the limit, right? And then here's how much customer value you need to create. So if you have a very small market size, you actually can slice it like that and create lots of value, start by the beginning and then adding more and more and more, right? You always, Justas argues, and I agree with him, have to care about acquisition and retention, both sides. But actually, if you slice that market small, your job is much simpler. If you start doing your features for everyone and anyone, that becomes super, super hard, right? And this kind of graph explains why. So the advice would be, stop pleasing all. Super hard advice. Founders, CEOs, boards always wants to ship everything for everyone. I don't know why. Even Nick, you know, Storonsky, the Revolut, we always discuss that and debated that. But if you really kind of slice who is your target customer and what problem you're solving for them by those business metrics, you get, as you started saying, like you don't do lots of stuff, right? And then basically you always have to train to focus on those 28 rule. Wherever you do, 20% of your customers will be driving that 80% of your value. But actually, if you look, you probably putting lots of energy, 80% of your energy, to get that rest 20%. And it's invisible to see in kind of the software delivery or kind of project-based deliveries, because you don't care, you just ship the feature. But if you put a business metric to it, teams by themselves, of course, make a decision. Should I plan this feature or this feature? If it moves 80%, of course, that's how it's easier to prioritize. Again, everyone might wait, bosses, big bosses, managers to tell you to do that. I always advise, don't start on your level. At your team, you can really start doing it. You can start measuring it. You can slice your customer segment. Even if you're forced to serve everyone, in your team, you can agree, okay, let's prioritize these features, these customers first, this segment, because then it will be easier for us to show the value. And if you show the business numbers to your business stakeholders, you will start getting kudos and be, oh, Vaidas, now your product moves really fast. Okay. And last but not least, another last example from First Circle. That's another lending company. This time in Philippines. A very different market, different context. Thesis is the same. They have been doing lending for businesses 5-6 years, wants to launch banking services. But in this case, Philippines is a different market. Still, checks is 80% of business-to-business payments there. Anyone knows here what check is? Actually, we don't, right? I never used it in my life, at least in Lithuania and Europe. But there, basically, if you have a B2B transaction, you want some business to renovate some house, for example. You say it's cost 1 million pesos and it will take 5 months. You will write 5 pieces of paper, 200 pesos each, with date in the future. And when that comes, you can go to the bank and cash your money, right? So we said, one, maybe we can take a photo of it, and the central bank already kind of moving that it will be digital. But second, we said, let's make it even more crazy. Let's say once we get that photo, we don't go through standard settlement scheme because it takes 1-2 days to put your money to bank account. We immediately push that money to your bank account. It's a bit like what Revolut does. Anyone who uses Revolut here? Oh, quite a few. When you top up with a card, you see, oh, I have the money I can use. Actually, the money to Revolut comes 2-3 days, but they credit kind of you for that period, right? Why I'm sharing this story? Because this is just the front end. You can imagine how many back-end operations you would need to build for this to work at scale, right? Someone actually has to go to pick that physical check if you're not asking customer to go to the branch. It has to drive, so there's a delivery company, then you have to register, then the data has to move to the bank and all that stuff. But what we did the front end first and launched it super fast and started seeing how many customers and which ones would use that. And are we so crazy? It seems not. It seems that's the most given advice by Y Combinator. There is a good article written, do things that don't scale. As product people, or especially project thinking people, we always want to put all scope to that project plan because once it's done, right? So we need to make sure that if that feature scales and there is 10,000 customers coming a day, we need to have process to support that and all back-end operations and that. But you don't know about that. And maybe that will come in 3 months, maybe in 6 months, maybe in 2 years. So basically, they argue, which I learned, and we did that at Revolut, at Uncapped, at all other companies, that we start things that don't scale. We do many things manually. And then if they do, then you build and prioritize those features that enable scaling. Basically, you fix the problem, right? You create problem for yourself by launching the front phase, and then see where the biggest pains are and solve them by prioritizing those. So my big advice for companies or kind of the managers and CEOs is stop big bets. Like if you have a project over a budget for a year or kind of big, stop it. Assign gated investments, so ask for those business metrics and then invest where you want to invest more and kind of continue with that. Of course, if you're a big organization, you will need to inform about that your operations teams because they might get some new ideas, new stuff that they're not used to. Or you can actually insource that and do for a while it yourself. Again, I know this is a crazy, if you're a functional organization, that's super hard. But actually, you can hack it and do it that way. And of course, Jeff Bezos, the Amazon founder, probably is a great example of that, right? I don't know if you know, but if you read about it, he was packing the books himself, right? And he knew that this is very inefficient, it's too expensive, but there's no point creating nice systems before you have thousands of orders coming a day. And once those orders come, you see, what's the problem? As he explains, maybe the problem is that we need to buy things on our knees because packing books on your knees, it's actually your knees gets hurt. So adding cushions on your knees is the first thing, not software fix. And kind of that type of thinking, right? And yes, you can definitely do that at your level. You're always kind of trying to think where to invest the money that brings the biggest results. So to wrap up, I'm sure I didn't tell you anything super new or secret. I mean, it's not what the life is about, you know. Everything is kind of thought through. But I still don't understand why I go to kind of many, especially non-startup companies, and this is what the life is about. They run projects, they ship software versus value, they start pleasing all instead of some specific segment, and they're doing these big bets. Okay, now everyone is doing budget for 2024. Instead of saying, okay, we have this investment, we are planning in 2024 as a kind of VC fund, invest X amount, that's by revenue, how much we can afford. And now let's agree on the business objectives we want to achieve, expose that in the business metrics and see which teams actually get there. Because, you know, like in Revolut Business, for example, one team was improving onboarding experience, another team was improving spend management, as you say, and we can see which one is faster and maybe invest into that one at that day. So, my advice, if you want to go 10 times faster, kill all the projects, stop project language, turn it to products. This is hard to do, lots of details behind the scenes, but I think the narrative is clear there. Stop shipping features. If you have anywhere goals that I to release X by day Y, change it. I need to achieve X% of usage. I need to get X% of clients to do Y by day that. You still have a budget, you still have a date, you just see, are you really delivering value? Stop pleasing all, define the smallest segment, because then it's easier for you to know the problem that segment has and solve it. And then you can expand. Like, no one says you stop there, but go kind of slide by slide. Teams I'm working now, I'm saying like, oh, we need to do that and remember that flow. Just slice one flow first, then you can do second, then you can do third. And stop those big projects, basically. Have, as we discussed, that big investment, and then assign those investments which business metrics move fastest. It's a radical change. Many companies won't do that, and that's fine. I mean, again, that's fine, as I said at the beginning. Or continue learning what you learn in other talks. Start doing all those good Agile practices. They will get you there, but they will get you there incrementally. Like 1%, 10%, 5% a month a day, and you will slowly get there. The question is, do you want to go there fast? Do you want to go there a bit slower? If anyone wants to discuss how to get there fast, or what part of this would be the hardest for you, for your organization, I'm looking forward for those questions, which I think we have time for. Thank you.
Indeed. Thank you, Vaidas. I see the first question. Am I seeing correctly?
If you're working with a technical service offering, is it still a product? Is the service the product, or is something else the product then?
Can you give a more specific what you mean by technical service offering in your case, just for us all to have an example, for example?
We are the automation team in our company, and we're offering the automation platform as a service to other teams that hey, you can come here and automate. So is the platform the product, or is the service? Because nobody cares about the platform itself. They just want to use it as a service.
Exactly, and I think that's, in your question, is already implication that someone had ideas for features, they build it, and that team, for some reason, does not care is anyone going to use it and why. And that split, I think, is what I'm trying to say you should avoid. So the team that's building the platform, the metric should be, we have a hypothesis that if we do this, or kind of our goal is that 1% of customer service requests are handled by AI, right? That's the goal. That's the metric we write. And then we try to figure out what ideas could get us there, right? Or if it's an internal team, I think you said, okay, so 1% of client support execs will use kind of this service versus the other one. So yes, that's what I think you got to the core. Splitting this, when it gets to those super wasteful stuff, because your platform, I'm sure, has only 20% ideally what's actually being used every day. And then you spend all that time and money and energy to build the rest 80%. And then you're saying, like, why the hell they're not using it? It's just amazing things, like as a geek. I did the same mistake in Vorapay. I was technical founder. We had a good technology. We had a good idea. We just forgot that people actually don't care. They don't wake up in the morning and think, which payment method I'll use today to buy my coffee? Maybe it's Bitcoins with that wallet. Maybe it's an app, kind of mobile payment. Maybe it's a card. I just want to get to work on the way to get my coffee, right? So that's kind of, I have to switch. And once I started switching, like my goal is, can I get like 5 people passing this through a cafe to make their life easier so they wait in a queue 3 minutes slower? That's the value. So our goal was, okay, how many people in this cafe would use the app to pre-order your coffee so that they save 3 minutes each? So we are measuring how many times we saved for those people. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, thank you. Can I ask one more? Isn't the alpha version of your product, the prototype, a project?
So yeah, we can go to that debate. What is project? What is product? It's kind of open. But by the way, I run a course which is called Agile Project Management. It's certified by IC Agile. So what I want to say, I think, as what I'm learning. If I'm using project management terms and kind of into that, you can have a backlog. People still thinking that it's so hard to get that of that deliver thinking. So current my thought is, if we really make this drastic change and we get the board to say we don't do any projects, we do only products here because actually we're creating value for the customer. Almost all companies does it. Then the change comes. So it's for me to play with these kind of real words. And now kind of it's more like, are we actually everyone thinking about the value for the customer versus just piece of engine, piece of software, piece of kind of delivery I can make. So it's a narrative change. So your question, I think you can always debate what it is. My colleague challenged with a better one. He said, deconstructing the, what even as you said, the decommissioning data center, is that a project or product? Because you're removing something, right? So I thought probably moving services to new data center would be a product that part of it should be decommissioning, so you don't have a cost. So as a team, you would have a goal. We want to move this service to new data center and make sure that cost doesn't increase. If you have your goal like that, you wouldn't have another project to decommission because your cost is still there. You have to do that as part of the new product delivery, right? So I'm challenging now to change the narrative to stop using project narrative and start using product thinking. Oh, yeah.
Sorry. Vaidas, this is true what you presented, and I fully agree. I think main challenge which we experiencing or are experiencing is, how to get buy-in from, from chief steering board, chief executive guys. Yeah. So from your point of view and from your experience, how did it went? It came from steering guys, or like you got somehow buy-in, and how you got this buy-in?
Yeah, so that's why I was really careful to put this what you can do and what kind of ideal situation is, because I was kind of anticipating this. Majority of people here are not board members or kind of owners of the companies. As I said, there are many things you can do on your level, right? So I think I'm not getting that there because you can still do it. It will be a change. Your team hopefully will like it. You will show results. What works for me, and that's why I said, like, yes, you have to come to the boards and kind of and management challenge that. And that's why I think, like, people like myself, I spend my energy and time sometimes to come and have these conversations. And as I always say, the cheapest consulting is lunch. So if you buy me lunch, I will be there. We all need to eat, and you have an hour to chat. But yeah, invite your managers, your bosses to talk about that and challenge. Because before you do that, I mean, on that level, you can't. But for example, this example, as you saw, all top management, CEO, actually it's 2 companies, so CEOs of both companies, the chief risk officer, everyone was in that room and went through that training together. And look, I'm not saying that after that training, after one day, they now all do product. No, we all have a point of reference now. Look, but when we played that game, because we focus on the outcome, we move it so fast, right? Instead of kind of doing separately. So we have a point of reference kind of to retrain, and that works very well. So I think advice would be first encourage kind of, if you can, your top management to talk to someone about this, someone who's been in the market. Other option is, for example, the First Circle. It's also like the most often I get to project organizations when the founders are finance guys. I don't know, maybe because I'm financial sector, because they tend to think everything as a kind of fixed project. So for example, First Circle case, that was discussion when I came into the company. Or here the same, do you want me to run projects? That I'm not going to do that, I'm wrong person. But if you, through conversation, agree that shipping to value kind of product thinking makes sense, then I can come and help. So to answer your question, as ever, I try to convince, to talk to different people, or do it on your level and show by data, by example. Yesterday's example from our company, one country says, oh, you made this change, and we just launched campaign a few days ago, and the traffic kind of stopped. And I first asked, what's the initial source of that traffic? How many clicks and came here? Why are you saying that the product failed, actually? Because there might be that it's Friday evening and it was very little clicks, But if you don't have data, you don't have that discussion. So.
Thank you for your presentation, Vaidas. And I have one more question. It's how to implement these great ideas to the public sector, because I see it's, let's say, a little bit, it's not that easy as it in a private.
Stole your question. Oh, there's public sector. So first, we try to do that, and I try to do that with Agile Lithuania Association in Lithuania since Agile Lithuania was born. So like, I think, if I don't mistake, in 2010, 12, the regulament, the kind of document that recommends how IT systems has to be created in Lithuania, public systems, said that 3 times out of 4 you should use incremental delivery. So Agile, basically. Only 1 time, if it's a very short system, less than 6 months, you should do kind of the other way. 12 years passed, nothing happened. As you can see, the recommendation document is one thing. What Eimantas Norkūnas now is doing a great job there. He's trying kind of to get the, from other side, how we can show by example and kind of get more public sector to really do it ourselves and then use it. And I think it's, of course, he's doing it right. We couldn't. We were more like lobbyists, trying to advise. Oh, great. So, and I would actually encourage to read and look at the UK model, because actually we brought UK people here because they also have digital first kind of Gov UK kind of center. And that's what they did. They basically what Eimantas is doing now, not forcing everyone, agreeing that it will take time, but creating kind of the center of excellence and then allowing different departments, ministers to kind of to almost vote for it. Do I want to work like that? Why? And then go to that level. And for example, for me, the biggest, what I saw again in UK and what I liked, once they release a bit bigger kind of sprint delivery, not every sprint, but kind of few sprints, which is the one who looks at that, who is? If it's for ministry, a minister has to be in sprint review and himself try out that piece of value that they brought to the customer. Because if the minister cannot use the solution we created, how come you or me will be able to? And in Lithuania, we had these examples when the journalist came to the minister and said, this does not work. And he says, no, it's on our website. And they're filming him. And then he tried to find it on the website and he couldn't. And he calls his IT support. Where is this product that we just released? And they had to guide him how to find it on the website, on the minister's website. So that's what and again, so the value would be, first step, a minister said, okay, this kind of service really delivers value, and then we go by percentages like what customers would use. So I think Eimantas Norkūnas is doing a great job, you guys doing there. We can help. We run also trainings, for example. So, people in public sector, after our trainings come out, wow, we actually can break. We gave one training for the, how's Lithuanian controlės, departamentas, valstybės kontrolė. It's state control, yeah. But this is like they control. They think everything has to be by the book. Like by that, they control that everything has to be by the book. And after kind of giving them examples and tools and what you learned in the first session, that planning is you cannot pretend and plan. They actually say, oh, actually we can be more flexible here, and then we can control the other organization in a more flexible way. So it's a journey. I'm really happy it's going. I was Lithuania team started it 12 years ago. It was super, super slow. We have this Agile Pusryčiai event where we try to get these good examples. So believe me, there are organizations in the public sector doing that. It's just we need much more to get to that moment. But if you to be honest, in public sector, in private sector, is exactly the same. If you look at percentage-wise, the number of companies I go and see that run these projects in a shipment, probably it's even more than in the public sector. So both public and private sector has these issues.
We still have time for one question, 2-3 minutes, and I saw the first hand was here. Sorry.
But sorry, just to finish, when ministers will care about the outcome, then when I think we did the job, we'll go to drink with yourself and Eimantas and buy champagne or whatever you guys want. So thanks for doing that great job.
Okay, firstly, thank you for the presentation. You did emphasize the differences in mindsets about project and product mindset, right? Based on my experience, many people use those as synonyms in the same context. Could you speak out loud what exact differences you were talking about when doing the presentation? What are those differences that companies should switch the mindset in?
So if I would pick one where I differentiate, as you said, like you rightly said, like everyone can use any word, like everyone's doing Agile today, right? And I asked my team, so what you ship after this sprint? So we said, we are going to ship in 3 sprints, but we just split it in, 3 sprints. And for me, it's like, guys, this is not what Agile is about. You have to create like 5 pieces of value in a sprint, not even like to stretch it out through 3 sprints and call yourself Agile. But coming back to your question, for me, it's measuring. That's why I was pushing on that second point, like measuring the business outcome. If you really start discussing at least what value it will create and can we agree on that one number, we forget about feature name. We say what this feature should do or we expect it to do. That's when you really start, I think, first having the right conversation, and second, start caring and thinking in the customer's shoes, like what they want really. Who is our customer first? What they will experience? Because if we don't create good experience for them, the metric won't move, right? It can be moved by force in public sector time to time, like everyone is forced to do that. But except those scenarios, I think that's for me the one thing that projects care about delivery of the feature, and then it's not the project team's responsibility, while product team cares the actual business outcome, that business metric we discuss and agree on. That I would pick as a one key differentiator. We have a few questions at the end, if we can.
We only have 1 minute left.
Last one.
Is it like a very short question?
We focused on the beginning, so we definitely need to have voice for the end. Yeah.
Yes, so from my experience, like the company is actually the product company, but the company likes to use other companies to outsource or just to buy other products. And usually what happens, that these products don't satisfy the company needs. So the question is how you convince the company to build the product in-house.
Oh, but that's a very wrong question. You shouldn't. I think too much companies try to build in-house nowadays. Like I saw so many companies building their own CRM systems, building their own websites kind of systems. Like stop please doing that. Google, use software as a service and stop building that in-house, number one question. And then using providers actually better because then you can compare. You have internal team, external. You can actually decide who I will get this basically feature or to achieve this business metric. You see, even I still embrace that way of thinking. Okay, I want to achieve this business metric. Should I give it to outsource team or inside? And they can compete, and that's actually very good because either you show how good or bad your supplier is, or you see how good or bad your internal teams are. So no. So I'm coming to the point. So first, I want to fix the question that outsourcing is great. You can and continue, and please do that and use the service. What you have to do, the same as public sector is trying to work out that way, but you own the money, you own the music. And please go to Agile Coach. There's old article, I don't know, 2012, when basically we bought with one company, kind of app development. We changed the contract. We said it's a plan. We commit to the time and the money, like 3 months project, but we will do everything in iterations to achieve the business value. And together with you, we'll go through that. And it's just who builds, you. So the answer is all those ideas actually work because you can impose them to the supplier. If they say, no, I just work fixed price, tell me what you want, and after 6 months, I will get you what you want, run. Because you go to the first presentation and you see you won't, because they're just lying to you, it's impossible. So either it's internal to external, doesn't matter. You need to use exactly the same principles. And yeah, just as Rune said, if there's more questions, we guys out there in Agile Coach Clinic, please come. There's even more people. We split by roles like product owners, scrum masters, business agility, innovation. If you have specific questions, we are more than happy to share whatever we learned through our experience.